This is a great episode with Steve Harvey, and it's from a long time ago. He's talking about God. I hadn't seen it before. He's talking about it to Joy Behar back when she was hosting for Larry King. Welcome to Doug in Exile. These truths, this video, though it's old, it's still true. That's the kind of stuff that I want to put out on the internet. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll stick with me for a while because we're staying together all the way until we get Trump elected. And even then, we'll be partying for the next 4 years. Let's watch Joy Behar.
Does he have a relationship with God? You sitting up here talking to a dude and he tells you he's an atheist. You need to pack it up and go home.
First, this is the boldness of Steve Harvey saying if you're a Christian and you're dating an atheist, you don't have enough in common. It's time for you to pack it up and leave. I agree with that. We're going to get to Joy Behar. Let's follow this thought because the audience is cracking up at him.
You know, you talking to a person who don't believe in God, what's his moral barometer? Where is it at? It's nowhere.
And that is true. He's not saying that an atheist is not moral at all. Some of you are atheists. You're moral. My claim is that actually, there's a moral law which is given by God. Because if I am the highest authority in my own universe, which an atheist says there is no God, so I do not have a God over me, then I am my own moral barometer. I can do what I want. And I'd challenge any atheist on that out there. That is irrefutable, I believe.
Speaking of God, you say in the book that you wouldn't go out with a woman. I guess a woman should not go out with a man who doesn't believe in God.
No, I mean, why would you?
Well,
that's going back to that original laugh line that he got. And you'll see Steve Harvey. See, he said before, we've done videos on him where he said he was a God guy. He believed in God. I didn't realize it went this deep. I don't mean he's some amazing theologian. I just mean he's really articulated himself well. I think his arguments are pretty respectful. He is being backed into a corner now by Joy Behar, trying to push back and shame him. And he's pushing right back. And watch, he's going to double down here. You've never heard someone in Hollywood say this, that like basically if you don't believe, you're an idiot.
Do you believe that only people who are religious are ethical and moral?
No, I just believe if you don't believe in God, then where's your moral barometer?
Okay, and Joy Behar comes back with, I've heard this 1,000 times when I argue with atheists. The Bible says the fool says in his heart there is no God. And the fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. So if you don't have that foundation there, then there is no moral lawgiver. Okay, that means I can go and eat you when no one's looking. And if no one catches me, I may have psychological damage. I may be upset, but nothing will happen to me. We're all the same worm food. We're all, as Carl Sagan said, we're all just stardust. We're going to go back to being the stars with no repercussions and no punishment. She's going, but you're saying they're not ethical? No, of course atheists can be ethical and good people. They can do all kinds of good works. In fact, many atheists do more good works than Christians or religious people. It doesn't mean they're saved because you're not saved by your works. Sorry.
That's just me talking.
I
You can
understand
believe what you want to believe,
Yeah.
but if you're an atheist, you're basing your goodness and morality on what?
Yeah, most atheists that base their goodness and morality, they will say there's a survival benefit to going along with what the culture, this is cultural relativism, to going along with what the culture says is true and good. It's all made up. They'll just say the culture makes it up, but we all agree to follow along with it. So in this culture, a woman should have to wear a hijab and can't drive a car. And in this culture, liberation is good. Other atheists will say, because there's no actual law, like these humanist manifestos or atheistic wishful thinking or whatever, they'll just go, we agreed on this standard, which would be less suffering and more pleasure, less suffering and more happiness for the more people is the good. And I just say, but there's no moral law that says why that must be true. Why not more suffering and less happiness is the new good, because I have the atheistic ability to push it through.
I mean, but what is an atheist? I don't really get into that. When I've talked to people all the time, I'm an atheist. I just walk away. I don't know what to say to you.
And it's interesting too that he's rude to atheists, and I think that's fine. That's fine to do. An atheist might come up to you and say, I might say, hey, I'm a Christian. And he might just say, I don't know what to say to you. And he just walks away. I have been treated more rudely by atheists than I've treated atheists rudely. In fact, I'm fascinated. I love hanging out and talking to atheists. People who deny God, they're some of the weirdest, bizarrest. I can't explain it at all. But he's only saying he just walks away because he's saying there's no moral ground you can agree on with a person who's that self-deluded. And by self-deluded, we're going to get to that in a minute.
You know,
Well, an atheist is someone who doesn't quite believe that there is somebody out there, some God out there.
well, then to me, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's good. Bold. To me, you're an idiot. And to the Bible, you're an idiot. You're someone who looks at creation. That is, you look at all of reality, look at the molecules, look at complexity, look at beauty, look at knowledge, look at laws of logic. You look at all that and you say, no one made it. It poofed into existence by itself. That's what he means by intelligent people can be idiots. You can be so in rebellion against nature and looking at nature. Instead of finding a God to thank, you look at it and say, I'd rather thank no one. This is a freak accident, which is not true. I mean, it can't be a freak accident to a point. You can morally say to people, you're an idiot.
Okay, well,
So I'm cool with that.
But
I'm just
that's
probably
fine.
not the right politically correct thing
No,
to
no.
say. But if you don't believe in God, I mean, really, you got to have an explanation for this. You just can't tell me this spun out of a gastrous ball.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, then we were evolved from monkeys. Why we still got monkeys? It's
The why we still got monkeys is a terrible argument. I am going to make fun of him for that. But the rest of it is true. You can't just tell me that a ball exploded, then we started evolving consciousness and all that. That is a step beyond. But I like him saying, like, you have nothing in common with a person if you can't just look at the basic structures of reality and say, someone made this, a God made this, someone did this, whom I must be thankful to. And real quick, he's saying it's not politically correct to take a stand on any of this. Joy Behar is trying to work around it and go like, but they just don't believe in a God so much. He's like going, no, actually, the bigger cultural shock is for me to say, no, there is a God and I know it. And you must know it too, or you're an idiot. And by the way, the atheist and honest one will say the reverse back to you. They'll go, there is no God, and I know there's no God, and you should know that too, or you're an idiot. That's generally what they say. People may hide behind other forms of manners where we may go, hey, believe what you want to believe, until you say like, well, I want to eat children. I'll go, well, now I'm going to judge you and I don't care what you believe. I'm going to exert my belief over you to keep you from performing cannibalism. So when it comes down to what's really important, we demand the other person believe it. And that's what I'm saying is the belief in God is more important than your belief in not performing cannibalism.
too much open here. I just believe that. And if you don't believe that, then I don't like talking to you.
I say,
Oh, I don't like talking to you, atheists. I'm the opposite. I do like talking to you, but I probably like talking to you for the same reason he doesn't like talking to you is, to me, I like teasing out of atheists, like, where's your morality come from? I ask them all the time, and I'm talking about for 30 years now. And it's absurd, the answers I get. It's absurd, the irrationality. And I read their books, Christopher Hitchens, Dawkins, Michael Shermer, some of the worst, Amazing Randy, like this goes all the way back to my childhood. Some of the most illegitimate thinkers there is. I read them and I just go, there was a time when I wanted to be an atheist right after college. I was trying to just question everything. And I looked for any good excuse for self-creating matter, and there is none. And because of that, nature itself demands that a rational person conclude that a cause, an agent, a being powerful enough to make all matter, the whole universe, and make us good exist. We call that person, that being, God. I'm Doug in Exile. Do you believe?